What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about 4 things I wish I knew starting off my career as an aircraft maintenance engineer. The first thing I wish starting off my career as an aircraft maintenance engineer is YouTube is your best teacher. Guys, like I told you guys, starting on my career, I had no type of educational background. My dad was never in aviation, my mom was never in aviation, my whole family was never in aviation, right? So I'm the first generation in aviation. So I never really had an idea of how this component looked like. In fact, the first time I ever saw an aircraft was the first time I came to Canada. So I never really had a background of how this component looked like. And I wish back then I had the same effort I put in my education. I put the same effort on YouTube videos, because YouTube now has a lot of information. They have a lot of information. And that is something I wish back then. And that's what I'm trying to do on my YouTube channel right now. Moving forward, I'm going to start making more of aircraft educational videos. So whereby you guys that are currently in school right now, you guys can have a good visual idea of how this component look like and how they work. So that way, whenever your professor teach you in class, you can have a visual idea and you can implement it to your educational. That is something I wish I knew back then, something I have invested more. I feel like I would have learned a lot more faster. And now YouTube is even more better. There's a lot of channels that actually talk more about aircraft system. So that is the first thing I wish I knew starting on my career, man. YouTube now, I feel like YouTube is even better than the teachers are teaching you right now, because YouTube have unlimited resources. For you guys that are in school right now, it's something I would say take advantage of, because it's going to help you out a lot. The second thing I wish I knew starting on my career as an aircraft maintenance engineer is never underestimate any courses. Guys, I never said this on YouTube before, but I almost failed a class in school. Yes, I almost failed a class when I was in school. And it was not because the course was hard. Actually, the course was the easiest one. And the reason why I almost failed was because I remember back then I was talking to the second year student, right? And they were telling me how the subject was called cars, right? They were telling me how cars was pretty easy. You don't have to study for it. So I already had that mentality. It's pretty easy. Then I'm not going to study for it. And I didn't study for the first midterm, and I did awfully. I did really bad. The only reason why I passed was because I put my effort in finals. And that is something I gotta tell you guys that are in school right now, man. Do not underestimate any courses, because you never know. It's always the easiest one you usually fail. You know what I mean? You guys understand how important, you guys understand how much I preach the importance of accreditation. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be in a situation whereby you gotta retake a course or you gotta start. You don't want to have that situation. So please not underestimate every course. Treat every course as important as possible, and trust me, life is gonna be way more easier for you. The third thing I wish I knew starting on my career as a aircraft maintenance engineer is you being an aircraft maintenance engineer is not all about fixing planes. So guys, this is something I wish I have taken a little bit more serious. I remember back then in school, they were teaching us how to read the AMM, the IPC, how to sign your logbook, how to sign a maintenance release. And I always wondered back then, why are they teaching us this? Why are they teaching us how to sign the document? How does that relate to aircraft maintenance engineering? And it's not because I was not taking school seriously, but I never really had anyone to mentor me back then that you being an aircraft maintenance engineer, right? Half of the job is you doing the task, right? And half of the job is paperwork. You know what I'm saying? And that is something I wish I knew back then. I've taken a little bit more serious to learn how to read the AMA properly, to learn how to read the IPC. Yes, it's something they're going to teach you when you start your apprenticeship, but you having a pretty good idea of how these things look like will help you out a lot more. And that is something I wish that I have focused a lot more on how to read the AMM, how to read the IPC, how to sign paperwork. That is something I wish I had put a little bit more effort in. I remember back then, my professor was teaching us I remember clearly we had a quiz back then on how to sign a task card. How to read the AMM, and it was giving us the 88 chapters. How does this relate to aircraft maintenance? You know what I mean? But I had no experience back then. I never had anyone to teach me, you know what I mean, to mentor me. And that is why I'm here on YouTube, so I can mentor you guys, so you guys can learn from my mistake, right? So that's something I wish I knew back then. You being an AME is not all about fixing plane. 50% is about fixing a plane and 50% about paperwork. The last thing I wish I knew of as an aircraft maintenance engineer is getting your license is gonna take a lot of effort. Guys, you starting off your career as an aircraft maintenance engineer, like I told you guys, you don't start making the real money until you get your license, right? And to get that license is gonna take a lot of effort. Yes, the process is 2 years of school and 2 years and 6 months of apprenticeship, but starting off out of school, getting that first job is gonna take a lot of effort. And the reason why mine even took a little bit longer was because I told you guys I came from Nigeria, and back home we had this mentality that, especially in first world country, things are more easier than back home. It's more easier than back home, back like my country, right? Things are way more easier, you know what I mean? So I had a mentality, man, as soon as I graduate, I'll get jobs like that. I still had that mentality back home. I was not really used to the Canadian system. So it's something it's a mentality I had to switch as fast as possible, you know what I mean? And getting that license, man, is going to take a lot of effort, and it's going to take a lot of dedication. I see people that, especially when they get that first job, they forget about their logbook. They don't focus on that logbook. You know what I mean? They neglect the signatures. You know what I mean? And if you don't focus, if you don't try to get that license as far, because companies are not going to try to force you to get your license. They're not going to force you to get your license. They'll rather pay you as an apprentice and you're building your experience than you being a license, because you're going to be more expensive as a licensed person, right? You know what I mean? So that's something I wish I knew starting on my career. Getting that first job, getting your license is going to take a lot of effort, but glory be to God, it's something I actually fixed as fast as possible. You know what I mean? So those are the things I wish I knew starting on my career as an aircraft maintenance engineer. Guys, whatever information I tell you is not to scare you, but it's to educate you and learn from my mistakes. For you guys that are new to my channel and you need someone to guide you through, I do have hundreds of videos on my channel. I do offer free consultation whereby we can schedule a call and we can talk about how I can help you out. For you guys that are new to my channel, my name is Peter. I'm a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer, and like I said, I have hundreds of videos on my channel. And if you find this video informative, please do not forget to share and subscribe. Love you guys.